Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, and welcome to TFYLP. We are live February 17th, President's Day, here Monday night. With me, I've got Christian.
Hello.
I've got Sean.
Hello.
And I've got Rob.
Who are they?
Who
Nice.
apparently is the face of TFYLP, so if you
Lucas
haven't
is
been
jealous.
If you haven't been following us, we had some fun interactions lately with Radio Free Cybertron on Twitter, so go check that out. They I think it was Donvoy, I guess, did some drawings with Rob and Don and Kilby and all that. So
We're officially feuding now.
feuding, I guess if you call it that. So, but yeah, we actually for the first time, I think we had Don on for like the first time in like 4 months or something, and so he was on RFC as well. So it was kind of a fun, interesting thing because we ended up kind of talking about the same thing, which was Masterpiece RC and the MP reveals and all that from Wonderfest.
Transformers podcast turf war.
Yeah,
This is my corner of the internet.
Choose a side.
So it was fun, and this week we're days away from Toy Fair, so just one of the most fun weekends of the year, just because we have there's been a ton of speculation already, and there's some leaks already and whatnot. I don't know, like, would you guys say that I feel like it's a little bit better than prior years? Like, the leaks haven't been quite as bad as what they've been, but I mean, there's still plenty of stuff we already kind of know about.
Definitely less than last year.
Yeah.
Is it?
Two waves less than last year.
Because I've gotten very patient with things. I mean, like, I'm cool to learn info, as soon as I can, but I don't go hunt it out. I don't go digging for it. But, like, if somebody mentions it, it's like, oh, cool. Otherwise, I know I'm going to find out about it anyways at some point because it's going to get released. So, to me, I actually know more this year than I think I have in a long time, or at least I've heard more rumors, I should say. And I suspect it's because what I'm hearing is Toy Fair, like, right after they do Toy Fair, pre-orders are going to go up everywhere. And so a lot of retailers are getting those pre-order listings. I think that's like they're showing up in systems early, and I think that's how that rumors are getting out.
They did that last year too, and especially with the Pulse launch. Like right after the panel last year, everything was on Pulse, like Pulse.
Right.
You want to start with Pulse because we actually do know one thing about Pulse. Okay, so Pulse has extended Pulse Premium for another 6 months. Originally, we all got it for free if we order within the first 30 days of Pulse last year. And with Ectotron and the $10 deluxes from Siege, a lot of us did. So we got extended from the end of the year until like 12 actual months, which is this month. Then they're extending it 6 months again. So, yay, free Pulse Premium forever?
I don't think they'll do it forever, but I think it's smart for them to keep doing it just because, I mean, they're competing with Amazon and, Big Bad and whatever. I think making it easy for people to order direct, through them, I think is a smart choice, and we'll see how long they keep it going.
Well, the thing I think is interesting, so they extended it for 6 months, right? Like, from whatever date. And I looked forward 6 months, and it's actually going to cover San Diego Comic-Con as well. Like, I think it's just right, because I think it will end in August. So, and, I called Pulse just to confirm that any orders that you make, while you have it, are covered. So, your free shipping or what. So, say you order a bunch of pre-orders in July that don't ship until December or something like that. Theoretically, those are still going to be free shipping because you pre-ordered it before it ended. So yeah, so that's just absolutely I mean, it's for those of us who actually ordered, last Toy Fair. I mean, this has been an incredible deal because it's what Amazon Prime is $100 or whatever, right? This was 100% free for those of us that were able to do it and get in on it. So,
I mean, I think at some point the free train has to stop unless they swap the model on it to where it's, hey, if you order through Pulse, you get 6 months free shipping, and they just make it a rolling thing. But at some point, charging $50 for it when you keep giving it for free is something's got to change there.
I don't know who they're trying to get new subscribers. Seems like they're just continuing to keep those of us who are around for the first month.
And Hasbro has so many crazy brands now with Transformers, Star Wars, Marvel Legends, Power Rangers. And G.I. Joe's coming back, so it's I don't know. That's a lot of stuff there. It's a lot of value to people that are into one or more of those lines.
So Zaldrin in the chat says it expires just before SDC exclusives would be put up. So I'm not sure. I may have been off on my dates. I know it's right around that time period, and maybe we'll learn more about Pulse and what their plans are going to be at Toy Fair. I don't know. It'll be interesting to kind of see. I mean, I think it's been pretty successful, and I know they've also run the Pulse Premium. I think they do free shipping if it's over $50, a lot of times too. So I mean, it's one of those things. Is even if you don't, aren't able to get Pulse Premium, that they still run those deals and whatnot. So, and
then Ron mentioned in chat too, something else Pulse is doing this year is they're actually going to be airing live the presentation itself when it's happening at Toy Fair. Ron saying it's going to be on Facebook. Yeah,
cool.
What do you think the odds are that stream's going to go down?
Depends on how the internet is at wherever Toy Fair is being hosted. Because it's going to be on Facebook, so as long as they got, they only have to host one stream. Facebook will handle the rest.
A them problem.
Yeah. That's true. If it is on Facebook, they don't necessarily have to worry about the bandwidth and whatnot that you would if it was on your own website.
Yeah. Unless the convention center's bandwidth is just garbage, or their own data and the data connection's garbage. Those can get you.
Which could be. I mean, I don't know. If I was Hasbro, I'd be making sure that they're hardwired in and have a solid connection, for that. Because, I don't know. It's never fun to promise that kind of stuff and then have it, have that stuff go down. But
whoever streamed them at New York Toy Fair back in the fall had a pretty solid stream, so it should be fine.
I feel
did I say New York Comic Con?
I feel in general the technology for all that is so much better than what it used to. Because I know it just seems weird, even at TFCon, where a lot of us are live streaming stuff on Facebook, the third party panel, and you're literally there essentially as they're doing the slides and whatnot with that live stream.
Yeah, but that really depends on hotel to hotel. I remember trying to watch that one year when it was in TFCon Canada, and it was impossible. The stream was just garbage tier, and I mean it wasn't. It was just the hotel internet was bad. Paul's saying that this is held at the Time Center, which he said there's always substantial internet, to use his word. So should be fine, he thinks.
I mean, I would think so. It's just, I mean, again, this isn't the same as San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, this is really more for industry people than it is for attendees, but at the same time, I mean, it's kind of become such a big thing with, like, again, as we talked about all the different properties that they have, like, it's funny because for us, like, we're all excited about Transformers, right? But, like, that's such a tiny, tiny sliver of what this show's going to be. I mean, I feel like Marvel Legends and Star Wars and different things, like, different properties like that are kind of more really the big news. Like, I think Marvel Legends might be the biggest.
Rumor is Marvel Legends are going up to $30.
Oh,
There've been they've spotted that on shelves, and the argument is some people are like, well, that's just like the new deluxe size figures. Like they're doing like the Venom Build-A-Figure in a new deco, and they got like some Black Widow repaint, and they're like, that's at the 30, and they're thinking that's what that is, and so we're like, no, I think it's the new price of Marvel Legends. So that could be big news for people into that.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, though, a lot of the Marvel Legends in general are so much better quality than what they were a few years ago. So that's the hard thing is that it's like, do you want that, or do you want, like, say SH Figuarts or something like that is $60-$70? But I don't know. I feel like Marvel Legends is kind of caught up. So
yeah, and think about how much Hasbro produces at that price point. It doesn't impact Transformers much, but Legends, Power Rangers, and Star Wars all have very similar lines. Just different characters.
And I bet their margins are lower too, since they have to pay licensing for all of that.
That's
Transformers
true.
is different because it's an in-house brand.
Right.
I think, do they own G.I. Joe as well? Like completely?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and now they own
G.I.
Power
Joe's
Rangers
on the line.
too, but they have to make their money back from, spending a gajillion dollars on that, so.
You want to run down what we have heard so far?
So I guess so. It's hard to try to figure out what rumors we've heard and haven't heard and whatnot. I know. So I think it was in Canada, right? There was a bunch of listings from, I think, is it Wave 2? Is that right?
I think it was 2. Yeah.
I think it's Wave 2, where we had, I think it was Voyager Snapdragon, Voyager Megatron, Deluxe RC, the Deluxe Alicon, is that right?
Yeah, Alicon and a Quintesson and Trailbreaker.
Wasn't Sunstreaker also, was it just
And
Trailbreaker?
Sunstreaker. No, you're right. Maybe it's Wave 2 and 3.
Yeah. It's
I
hard.
thought there were 2 Quints. I don't know. Skylynx was there too. He's the commander class.
Well, that was a different leak, though. So these,
different leak.
there were certain leaks where it was like a retail, like someone found it in like EB Games or something like that, like in the system, and so these are actually
Sunstreaker listing.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought there was 2. Unless it's a 5-figure wave again, like we had for Siege. Maybe, I don't know.
You think Sunstreaker is going to be a repaint of the Sideswipe figure? Or do you think it's going to be something new? I think it'd be something new for the Earth mode, right?
I think it would be more...
Or a Wheeljack repaint.
Right, I was going to say, it's probably going to be similar. I would think the tooling would be similar to Wheeljack, but...
Maybe.
Because, like, they should be able to do the same thing like that Wheeljack did with, like, the wings on the Earthrise, where it, like, plugs in and becomes the spoiler. Like, these wings just pull off. But I'm betting that there's gonna be something like that kind of for.
I guess those are vaguely Sunstreakery feet.
I mean, and he has the hood chest as well.
Right. Yeah. So I'm betting that this will be. I mean, it's going to be a full retool, I would say, but it's.
I could see just a heavy retool of the current Sideswipe, as far as changing the hood piece and the back cable parts.
I mean, because it's not.
It'd be
Go
a
ahead.
quick retool.
Yeah, Sunstreaker's not a hood chest guy though. He's a roof chest guy. So.
Oh, true. Yeah.
That's the only reason I don't think it'll be Sideswipe.
But I mean, but he has the front. He's the glass. He's the roof and the hood. Oh, you're saying for not Sideswipe? Gotcha. Yeah, because he's hood only. He's not. Yeah.
Yeah. They transform differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the
Both your
hood
wheel
and
jack is
the
Sunstreaker, so.
hood and the windshield, right?
Yes.
So Christian, can we actually say thank God? Like, so we had a rumored Voyager Quintus, right? For Earthrise.
Like that.
Can you just say thank goodness that we actually got that, so that you didn't actually have to go buy the Cyberverse figure?
You know, I'm not convinced yet.
Not until you see it.
Not until I see it.
It'll be the
It
same
just,
thing.
I've said it on a couple different shows that it just feels so wrong to not go get the only Quintesson we've had available in the last 16 years. Like, it's just wrong. They're sitting across the street from me at my Target. It feels wrong for them to be there and not in my house.
But at the same time, it's wrong.
Bad, they're the only
Right.
one.
Right.
I'm
That's what I
not
was gonna
that
say. That's what feels wrong to me is spending $30 on that pack with like a not great, what is it, Shockwave and Prowl or whatever.
Yeah, I do hope that the Voyager Quintesson is real, and I hope it's the Judge and not somebody else or whatever. Yes, please.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Run Amok. Is that in Wave 2? Man.
It is this. It's coming up. Is the fan vote?
Yeah. So.
Is he coming with Runabout, or do we know?
Runabout will come later. I'm sure.
It'll be later.
The speculation, and not even a rumor, the speculation is that Runabout will be the Walgreens exclusive this year.
Oh.
Hooray for Walgreens exclusives.
Okay, so we'll see that in late November.
I really love the Transformer Collector Club's Runabout and Run Amok pair. And I think I'm probably good unless like that mold just blows me away. But I love that pair of figures, and I have ever since we got them.
At the same time, though, I always imagine Run Amok and Runabout as smaller figures just based on the G1. And so that's what, like, I almost feel like those figures are too big.
The G1 figures are crap.
Well,
just
I mean,
I can see them right here.
They're essentially like one-step figures back in 1985 or 6 or whatever it was.
They're action. You pull them back and let go, and they pop up. But I mean, like they're as tall as your normal deluxe. Like for G1 when they pop up, they're not actually small figures. They're just crap.
Yeah,
they're not like.
I think they'll be regular size.
Deluxe.
Everyone's saying that they'll be, Retools a clip jumper. No.
I was going to say, when you say that they're going to be regular size, do you mean clip jumper size? Is that regular size, or is it regular size like wheeljack size?
Regular size.
I think they'll be wheeljack.
So, yeah. So, and then in a subsequent leak, there was like a planogram thing with Scorponok on it, and then we also got Skylynx on that same one too, which that's going to be interesting.
That's news. That was news.
Yeah.
Scorponok we've known for a while because we saw him building the Headmaster. We haven't seen final pictures yet, so I assume that's something we'll see is either they'll have one there or they'll at least have some pictures up or something of it.
A prototype, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be part of their diorama probably. I think they did that with all the other guys.
Yeah, but Skylynx was kind of left field. Was he Voyager or Leader?
No, he's going to...
Commander.
So it's going to be like Jetfire.
Oh, damn.
So. I'm
surprised they're going that large a price point on... Well, it's honestly, kind of B, C tier character. I mean, I like Skylynx, don't get me wrong. But, that's a... I'm surprised they're putting that much money behind it.
You know who does like Skylynx, though?
Same
guy who really liked exactly John Warden.
That was a complete guess.
That's why Jetfire is that big. That's why Skylynx is that big. So,
hey, you know what? That helps. Like, if we can get a cool Skylynx because Warden likes him, like, more power to him.
So be it.
That's great.
Yeah. From that same leak, though, we got 2 more Ramp Masters. We don't know their names; they just exist. And the Astro Squad, at least one pair of the Astro Squad. Probably the shuttle.
I'll be happy when they start finishing the damn Micromaster pairs. Like, I get it, but like, come on, guys, quit doing half of a pair. Like, fucking finish
the
what you
Hot Rod
start.
Patrol out right now. I really want the other half of the Hot Rod Patrol. Those guys are special to me.
Those are the only ones where I'm okay with just Big Daddy, but they should finish it. I really want them to finish. My favorite one from a kid was the Battle Patrol. At least I think that's it, right? You know, we got Flak and the plane. It's like, where's the other two? You need to.
We got Big Shot and Sidetrack. We need Flak and Sunrunner.
Sorry, yeah, you knew what I meant. Yeah, where are they?
No, we didn't get Sidetrack. We got Flak. We need Sidetrack and Sunrunner.
Okay.
See,
I was going to
we're both halfway there.
Like, either way, I know we got half of them. Give me the other damn two already.
So Nero in the chat was talking about, like, is there a new Sideswipe that's coming out too? I don't remember hearing that.
I haven't heard that one.
And then I know there's a new Smokescreen, which seems kind of weird to me that they're releasing him. I'm wondering. I'm still
unless
kind of.
It's not that Smokescreen.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It still seems weird to me, like some of these, like where they're redoing them again from Siege. Like, are they actually going to do the repaints? No. I'm not saying about that. What I'm saying is like, I'm curious. Like, okay, so like they did a Starscream. Are they going to do repaints from that? Which I'm sure they will. And the same thing with, like, you know, the Datsuns or whatever. They're going to do all of them too. Which I guess for like some people, where if you couldn't get those exclusives, like, because I think Ratchet was rumored as well, right? Somewhere. And so, like, Ratchet was Walgreens exclusive. So at least this way you can get, you know, another Ratchet and whatnot. But I don't remember Inferno. He mentioned Exhaust was another one, which is a repaint.
Exhaust was another one.
And then Inferno, which I don't remember that being confirmed. I mean, obviously it's coming. Like, we know it's going to come, but yeah. And then Double Dealer. Have we talked about Double Dealer?
Yeah. No, we didn't talk about Double Dealer, but yeah, he'll be there. I think he's on the box art, right?
I haven't
right now.
I know we saw him on some sort of box art. Was he? But I didn't pay attention to it. Is it a new mold or is it a remold of Ape Face?
It was leader class. That was the listing. So.
Okay, so that had to be all new. I do love me some Double Dealer.
Studio Series kind of plays around with that a little bit, but it would be the first time we'd seen that in Mainline.
So,
very curious about that.
So Paul was mentioning, like with the Newt Deluxe waves and like all the waves and all that, do we think, like, are they going to do the same thing they did with Siege, where it's going to be repacks of like the prior figures? I mean, I'm assuming.
What do you mean?
Like, so wave 1, you know, like say you have Cliff Jumper or whatever, like, are they going to repack Cliff Jumper in wave 2 or wave 3 or, you know, or Hoist or whatever?
I mean, that's how it's been always, so I'm assuming yes.
Yeah, probably more than likely.
I don't think we'll see repacks until 3, but that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many waves they end up doing of Earthrise. Like, are they going to tack on a 5th wave like they did with Siege? Or are they going to actually plan that out this time? Or
hopefully.
I mean, we kind of barely got the 5th wave of the Siege, right? Like, it was mostly online. Maybe you saw it in a store, but you probably didn't. Isn't that how it's been going?
Yeah. I've seen everybody except Astro Train in stores now.
I mean, there was like...
Maybe only once, but I saw them.
It was like right before Christmas where that like wave 5 hit, and you could get, you know, some of those figures. But yeah, it seems like they're kind of tough to come by, especially the Astro Train. In Siege packaging, I should say. Now it's hitting Earthrise, but
that was kind of weird. But I guess I'm glad they did it.
So, are there any other, like, you know, mainline stuff that people are at least hoping to see, like that we expect to see Run 'em Up because it was in the fan vote. You know, there's stuff that was in the listings that we know we see, like Scorponok. You know, that's kind of a given that we at least expect them to talk about it, if not show it. Is there anything that people think we might see or hope that we'd see, you know, like repaints or just new characters?
I think we'll probably see a fast track
to go with Scorponok.
As a weaponizer to go Scorponok. I'd really like to see more modulators like Ironworks. We've heard Hot House is maybe a select exclusive, so that would be cool.
Nero wants to do Blitzwing.
Didn't ask that one.
Oh.
I figured we'd get there.
The Titan, yeah, sorry I'm like running behind on the chat here, posting it up here. Just trying to get through everything.
Leader class Blitzwing, man. On the one hand, I'm like, don't start the triple changers again, but then Astro Chain's a leader, so I can, understand. I don't know, it's just it's constant regurgitation. It's really worn me down these days. Here's the same season, 2 or 3 seasons of the cast over and over. But I'm like, why aren't they making Action Master Omega Supreme? That's what the people want. So maybe this will be the year.
Give me a leader class modulator. Big old Micromaster base.
So, the thing is, Rob, it's like we all talk about that, like, oh, we want all these, like, whatever, like, Season 4 characters, just whatever, like, all these wild new characters, right? But if you go and you look at the stores, if you're doing toy hunting, right, what are the things that are still sitting on the pegs? It's like the weaponizers or whatever. Like, it's the weird stuff that's sitting on the pegs. It's not like, Optimus and Starscream and all that. Like, those are all sold out.
Yep. I don't blame them for doing what they do, but we can still bitch about it. I mean, it's the internet. What else are we going to do? Not bitch about things?
Right. Yeah, I'm just saying there's a reason they do what they do. It's.
Do you think we'll see anything about the Armada Optimus Prime that we saw prototype of like a year ago?
No, Takara answered that last week.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
They said they were deciding if it's an MP or a Selects or a whatever, and it's up to us, the fans, to decide. It's like, no, it's not.
It's up to marketing or something.
Well, what I love about that Armada figure is like it clearly looks like a mainline type figure. Like, it does not look like a Masterpiece figure, especially with how they're doing MPs now. Like, it's just ridiculous to even say that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a Takara-originated project, so we'll probably not see it at Toy Fair.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was last year at Toy Fair, they had an MP display.
They did.
So I suspect we'll have it one again this year.
But it was NPM, except for B.
Oh, I thought they had G1.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they had Prime and B out and stuff. I think they'll have another one this year. I would love it if they had RC there again and somebody could ask them, yo, what's up with that? It'd be nice to get an answer, but I don't know that they would know the answer to begin with anyways, since they're not Takara engineers. But it'd still be good to see some more of it.
There's a hope from the NPM collectors, and the only way I know this because Serge is on it, he tells me. But the hope is that they're going to reveal NPM Ratchet.
We haven't heard anything new out of NPM in a little while, have we?
We heard a rumor about Ratchet and Starscream. Probably about 8 months ago.
So yeah, they've been quiet on that front.
They do 2 releases a year, so it's not unusual that we haven't heard.
Okay.
Like last year, we got Megatron and Jazz, and they were both at Toy Fair last year.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like, it seems like, NPM is kind of more Hasbro's thing, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was kind of the start of not the start of, but it happened around the same time the brand Unity thing was going on. We saw that in Toys R Us the same time we saw it, like where you could get it in stores from Japan. That was pretty kind of shocking, like not in a bad way. And it's just like, that's not used to that. Masterpiece on a shelf? What?
Pretty crazy.
So one thing I'm kind of surprised we never got a blaster. I know in the chat they were talking about that.
We got Titan's Return
as well. I mean, recently.
Titan's Return is recent, isn't it? Feels recent.
It's like 5 years ago.
3 lines ago.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 years isn't that. I still think of classics as not that long ago.
14 years ago.
Yeah.
That is literally half my life ago.
I was going to say, there's like kids that are adults now and have jobs and stuff that were You know, when that stuff came out right there. Yeah, exactly.
But not Titan's Return. I mean, if a line that was only 5 years ago, it's like, oh, those characters are all super old. We are never going to get out of the same 20 characters. You know.
That's the point.
Yes, right. Exactly.
When you're right, you're right. And you were right.
Flex is our hope. So I think we'll see lots of stuff through that.
See, what I would love to see is if they're going to continue with this Voyager at the leader thing, right? If throw Blaster in there and give me like 6 tapes or something like that. Like that would be incredible. Like I want more tapes. That's all I want.
Oh,
so
if you
guys could say like one thing you're hoping to see from Earthrise, like your Omega, like your one thing that you want, that you're hoping for, your mad pie in the sky hope, what would it be? One. You have one.
I collect so little mainline these days. I got it.
Okay, Rob, go.
Boulder from Rock Lords, leader.
Nice.
Of the heroes.
Boulder from Rock Lords.
Bring Rock Lords back. Start with Boulder. You got to start with the main leader.
Okay, Sean, do you have one?
Not really. I mean, it'd be cool to have like a countdown base that's actually pretty good, rather than just a tiny little ironworks thing that a car can barely sit on. So,
can I steal yours and make it better?
Yes, please.
Okay, so my pie in the sky hope is for Titan Omega Supreme to be a Selects Titan Omega Sentinel in the rocket base colors. That's what I want.
It's not going to work.
That is what I want.
There's just Omega in blue and white.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it worked for Energon, and it was amazing. Do it again.
It kind of worked. Got some people in chat. Some people want Omnibots. I think those have been rumored. I don't know what they would be, but I think those have been rumored that we might be seeing some Omnibots. Battlemaster Signal Lancer. That's the stoplight?
Heck yeah, it is.
The stoplight from Unicron trilogy. For anybody who doesn't know what that is.
Yeah. Lucas, what's yours? Have you found one yet?
So can I go non-Transformers? Like, and it's not really one thing. It's like an entire line.
I mean, I said Rock Lords, so you know.
So if I could get Mask, if they could re-release a line of Mask, I would be super excited about that, because that's one thing I've never gotten into that line, like the vintage line, because I just didn't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No one even knows what that is.
Huh?
It's a small hole.
No one even knows what Mask is.
Lots of people know what Mask is. Your generation doesn't.
Just because you don't know what Mask is.
Like the mid-30s and up, at least know what Mask is, even if we don't collect it. And you can't go into a vintage toy shop, vintage again from like 80s up, and not find Mask toys. They're always there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a great line for kids. Like, it's just, like, I think my kids would really I don't know. Like, I really digged it. Like, just, essentially cars that turned into other, like, spy stuff and whatnot.
Didn't they have, like, this kind of cool big-ass playset?
Yeah. They had, like, the mountain. There was, like, a mountain. I can't remember what it's called, but. Boulder Mountain or something.
Boulder, was it Boulder Hill? Or am I thinking of
I think
Robots in Disguise? Or maybe it's both. Or Rescue Bots, I suppose. Thought there was some base there too.
That's like Boulder, Colorado.
Oh,
I don't know. It's okay. Boulder something.
So do we move on to Studio Series?
Studio Series. So the only thing that there's a couple things. Never mind. It's not the only thing. We've got Voyager, Skipjack, Scrapper, and Sentinel Prime coming in.
Is that is Sentinel Prime a leader?
He's a Voyager.
Oh, he's a Voyager, okay.
So he's actually smaller than the old one.
Yes.
Huh.
But he'll scale with Prime and Megatron.
It's still too soon to have Sentinel Prime.
It's not.
I'm still mad at him for killing Ironhide.
Spoilers!
For a 9-year-old movie? Dang it.
That sucked.
So interesting about Sentinel Prime. I like that one. for Sentinel Prime, he is labeled as a Decepticon on the box, which is wrong.
I mean, should I just write Evil Bastard on there then? Should that be his faction?
Probably can't swear on a children's toy, but you never know. Can find out. The next deluxe wave after Jet Shatter, Off-Road B, and Roadbusters, like Topspin, somebody.
I thought there was somebody else.
Somebody. My favorite.
God, who?
We've also heard
Blitzwing. Did you say Blitzwing?
I did not say Voyager Blitzwing.
Voyager Blitzwing. That's the one that I'm probably most excited for.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that one. Have we seen pictures or just?
I don't think so.
Rumor listing.
Listing, yeah.
And we've heard a rumor for Studio Series Selects, which has not been a thing up until now, but we've heard that Demolisher from Scavenger will be the first.
Some people would be down for that. Start working on an alternate Devastator.
Well, that I've been talking about that, and we talked about it on the Studio Series show on Microcasters a couple weeks ago, that the Constructicons are so good that I would like to have one version as Devastator and one continue to be just normal robot modes. So alternate decos would be good for that.
So,
they're fun.
Gameback Run in the chat, and sorry, I'm like behind on the chat here. He was talking about wanting a leader Grimlock. Do you think that's going to come in the next series after Earthrise? I feel like they're going to do Beasts, and there's going to be Dinobots and stuff like that, and they're going to retool them into Beast Wars guys too. Do you think, or am I off base on this?
Could happen. I still want Optimus Primal and Beast Megatron from 8 Face and Snapdragon. I think those will be selects this year.
I mean, I could be down with a set of Dinobots that weren't saddled with a combining gimmick that they don't need.
Right.
I mean, I actually got rid of, or I'm going to get rid of Power of the Primes Grimlock because I think a figure is just ruined by it. I'd rather have the Classics version. The rest of the Dinobots I think are decent, even though they're a little small, I feel, except for Swoop. I think Swoop's fine, but I mean the rest of them, they're not bad. I just think they're a little small, and again, we have to shove a combiner gimmick in there, and Checkita lives without.
Yeah, and the combiner was crap gimmick, too.
Especially, I got upgrade kits for it, and it's fine, but at a base level, it was not very good. So I could do Dinobots again, especially if they're retooling into Beast Wars characters. Slag into Snarl or Sludge, and then into Rhinox. You could probably make that happen.
Rodimus is saying that John Warren claimed there was something big for the next Beast Wars anniversary, which
is next year.
But he said that John Warren also hates Beast Wars.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. I mean,
see, I can see. I mean, we talked about there's a movie that's rumored, right? The Beast Wars movie, and so I feel like if they're gonna do that, then they're gonna slot that into that line or into Studio Series or something like that. I mean, I could be wrong, but
I mean,
when Studio Series launched, we talked about Studio Series other lines. Even then, Studio Series Beast Wars came up a couple times. I think it'd be really great.
The Beast Wars figures they did back in the Generations line are all just excellent figures. Like the closest thing I take it back. Cheater sucked. Ignore Cheater. The rest of them,
he's from way far back. Don't count him.
Yeah, but Rat Trap is amazing. Waspinator is amazing. Rhinox's only fault is that he should have been a size class up, but he still looks great in both modes. He's just a little small.
And some strong knees.
Are his knees weak?
Knees.
Yeah.
I haven't had that issue in mine, but I have him in Rhino mode, so that's probably helping that. Yeah, at some point they got to circle back to that. We talk about other people's G1s that's not G1. And so at some point
25 years since it came out next year. That's a big deal.
There's less of a showcast to go back to Beast Wars, but if you go back to just the toys they made so many non-show characters. They got toys.
Good.
Yeah, so they could. There's a lot to pull from if they want to get on some of that nostalgia train as well. And I don't know. I would find that interesting just to not be purely G1 over and over with, hey, here's one beast out of every 20. We'll see if they do it or not. I mean, I feel bad for the Unicron trilogy fans. It's like you get one figure maybe a year.
We got two last year.
Yeah.
But I kind of think that, we've all seen the map in the Earthrise packs by now, right? I kind of think they're doing Cybertron again. We've got the Galaxy Prime, we've got Hotshot, we've got the map. They're jumping between colony worlds. That's straight out of Cybertron's playbook.
Yeah, there was a Micron world, I believe.
Yep.
That would be pretty.
Velocitron's already mentioned, so that's a Cybertron planet right there.
That's what I would like to see from Hasbro this year. Is not necessarily explicit figures, but just, hey, we're going to do more. We're going to Earthrise, but it's not just going to be Earth modes for the 84 to 85 cast again. There's going to be some of that, obviously, but we're going to start branching out of that. That was one of the things I loved about the animated cartoon is, yeah, sure, we had our Prime and our Bumblebee and our Megatron, our Starscream, but, it integrated stuff across the entire Transformers fandom, as well as created some new characters. Bulkhead was created there. And, he's in everything now. Lockdown was created there, and he's been all over the place now. Lugnut, they created stuff, but they brought in other stuff, like we had Black Arachnia and we had Wasp. They really kind of helped bring that together. I'd like to see the mainline adapt that even when there's not fiction to go with it.
I definitely agree. There's more than just G1. And the Earth modes in Earthrise doesn't really make sense to me, but it's only because I'm paying attention to the story, which is not much. But Earthrise is the journey to Earth. They shouldn't have Earth modes yet, but I'm being nitpicky, I guess.
Especially when there's no actual fiction.
Right. Maybe we'll actually hear. Yeah, maybe we'll actually hear about that Netflix show at Toy Fair. Who knows? Probably not.
It's dead. It's dead. There's no way.
I don't know. You think it's really dead?
It has been 1 year since yesterday was 1 year since they announced it, and then we've had nothing since.
I don't know how long it takes to develop a Netflix show like that, like an animated show. Does it take more than a year? It may be just the Takara, Optimus thing where they released it, or the Armada Optimus where they revealed it way too early, longer than what they should have. So
I don't think it takes that long to develop an animated show. I'm not saying I can do one.
Contracts that day.
Yeah. So I think if we see an animated Netflix show, it's probably not whatever they were planning last year. Does not say that died. We're going to try it again with something different, because whatever toys they were going to use then are gone anyways at this point. We've been hearing that there's going to be something, for that teen and up age since we were getting the Machinima stuff. We kept being told there was going to be something longer form, and it's never materialized. The closest we've got is, hey, we took the comics and ruined them. So, I'm not super hopeful for what they. That. Yeah, I don't know how much longer they would have ran anyways. You can't write. No, Roberts had to get tired at some point. And it's good for things to end. I would say that, but not from a. We want to do this and I understand Transformers is to sell toys. It always has been. It always will be. But you can still tell stories that you want to tell and let that drive things. Even if they say, hey, here's our current toy wave, use these designs just so they match up for the hell of it. But not, we're going to dictate the story and go back to G1, because that's when in the worst parts of the old era continuity were always when Hasbro stepped in and said, you got to cross over with our toys now explicitly. And that was always ruined the storytelling. But, Hasbro going to Hasbro, so what are you going to do?
Yep. They mentioned in the chat that, the Netflix He-Man show, I guess, was announced around the same time last year as well. And, they're kind of at the same point. They just announced their voice cast, I believe, I don't know, this
people
week
going
or
nuts
last
about
week or
it.
something like that. Right. So, it may be one of those things that Hasbro may be, just behind on that, where they're actually, maybe they're waiting for Toy Fair to say, hey, here it is. So I don't know.
There's a big difference though. He-Man doesn't have retail's toys out on the retail shelves all the time.
Right.
There's nothing in the shelves for He-Man right now. Whereas if you're trying to do a Transformers cartoon, it's got to sync up with what you're putting out on the shelves. You know, and He-Man generally looks like He-Man. They might have different villains and stuff, and I'm sure they'll have their own style. But when they say, "Oh, okay, well, we're going to have Optimus Prime in our cartoon," well, if that show doesn't come out till next year, there's going to be like 4 Optimus Primes that have come out since then.
Right. I mean,
you know,
I would argue though too. Like, I don't necessarily know that we need media for the Generations line. I mean, you absolutely do for Cyberverse, whatever the kids show is going to be. And so, like, they announced season 3 of the Cyberverse show. And it's not probably that exciting for us, but I'm sure that there are kids, I know of other kids that like that Cyberverse show, so.
That's true. We don't have to have fiction, but it would be nice to have a Transformers show that I felt like watching. Yeah. It'd be good.
Well, and I'm really curious too, because I feel like with the last movie, with the Bumblebee movie and all that, like I feel like that they kind of went back to the drawing board and are trying to do something with that whole thing, and so it maybe not, maybe they're not doing that, but it seems like there's been so many rumors with that. Like I almost wonder if they want to try to sync up a cartoon with, whatever the movie is, because we've heard rumors of like an animated movie. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, like a 3D animated similar to like the first 5 minutes of Bumblebee. So, I mean, who knows? So maybe it's one of those things where they're just kind of going back to the drawing board and whatever. I don't know. I'd like something personally, like to have something more substantial from Hasbro rather than, another Machinima series or, things like that. It's like, give us like an actual cartoon series. Give us like what Voltron or Masters of the Universe, like what it more than likely will be for Netflix,
I think Hasbro's very aware of what Machinima did and how it was received and how it was the worst ever. So maybe they're just taking the extra time to make sure everything is right before moving forward. Make sure that Machinima thing can't happen again.
I think the way to not have Machinima thing happen again is for Hasbro to not be involved in it so much. They need to find someone like He-Man has Kevin Smith, who is a huge nerd and very passionate about what he does. That doesn't mean what he's going to do is going to be perfect or to everyone's taste, but he's going to care about it. I think that's what Hasbro ruined with the IDW comics is it's a corporate mandate to do this. If they want a cartoon, they need to find the right creative person that is excited to tell a Transformers story like we had with animated. Those writers really cared about Transformers and they knew the brand. They didn't have to be told the brand. And they have to find that team and let that team run with it and stay the hell out of it, aside from, what characters are you doing? We need to work on some toys together, but let them tell the stories they want to tell. And then I think whatever we get will be good.
I don't think IDW stories exist as a mandate from Hasbro. They can flex their things, like when they do crossovers and stuff like that. That's certainly a little bit of flexing. But
the reboot 100% came from Hasbro.
And you're probably right, but also the issues of the previous series weren't selling as well anymore. And reboots do sell, if only temporarily. Yeah. So I'm sure IDW wasn't like, no, we can't do this ever. They're probably like, yeah, it's probably the right time as well.
Mm.
Well, it's not like IDW is doing...
Would Hasbro ever said, more than meets the eye, yes, greenlight that every issue? No, I don't think they would have. But they allow IDW to have a certain amount of flexibility. But like you said, with Kevin Smith and Master of the Universe, they don't have anyone writing the comics at IDW now that cares or even knows the brand. Like, I've read the first couple issues of the new comic series. It seems like that person doesn't know what a Transformer is.
Like when Michael Bay had to be told that, no, these are characters. He was like, what? They're just robots or something, and they're mindless, right? They're like, God, no.
they're people.
Yeah.
Well,
over.
The thing that amazes me though is like the Bumblebee movie. It was Travis Scott's the one that directed it, right?
Travis Knight.
I mean, sorry. So Travis Knight like runs an animation studio, right? 3D animation studio. Like and he's a huge Transformers nerd. Like you can tell that from the Bumblebee movie, like what they put in there. So it's like, I mean, I don't necessarily know that he'd want to do it, but it's like give his studio, like just let them run with it. Like that's what I would do. But I don't know, whatever.
That may be too expensive if it's if it's the CGI of like what we saw in the movie, which was awesome, that might be a little much. But yeah,
doesn't he own the studio that did Coraline and Kubo? Is that him?
That's him. Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Those were both good.
I don't know if I want that animation in Transformers, but I suppose it couldn't hurt.
I mean, anything that's competent and tells a storytelling that someone's passionate about telling, and I'm happy for it. Like I didn't watch My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, but that show just ended, went for almost like 10 years, and the girl that started it, she was a fan, and she ran the show for a few years, and then I think there were creative differences after that or whatever. But that's why it was such a hit with people, is because someone wanted to do it because they were passionate about it.
I think you could say the same thing for High Moon and the War for Cybertron and Fall Cybertron games.
Yeah,
I mean, those guys were huge Transformers nerds and loved it.
And those were fun games.
They told us that at Baka, and they were amazing games. Right. Everyone loves them.
Those are the only good Transformer games I know of.
But again, like at this point in our lives, like there has to be a fair amount of 40-year-olds or whatever that are huge Transformer nerds, or 30 people that are 20 to 40, whatever, right? So it's like it shouldn't be that hard to find people that are actually fans of the media and want to retell the story and whatnot. So
am I good to talk about something else I hope we hear about?
Sure.
The crossover line. What's next with that? And the rumor has been for a long time now, Back to the Future with the DeLorean. Do we think that's going to happen, and do we think we'll see it later this week? I really hope we see it.
Yep, I think it'll happen. I think it'll be up for pre-order on Friday, Saturday, whatever.
So
sound pretty confident.
So the only question that I have about this, and I've talked to Paul about this, is like you really want something where they're promoting like some other thing coming out, right? Like so Ghostbusters or whatever, like they're getting ready to launch like that whole thing with the movie and whatnot. So they're not doing another Back to the Future.
Anniversary of both.
They're not doing a Back to the Future movie, so I could see I could see it eventually coming where there's like a Back to the Future DeLorean or whatever, but I almost could see like something where there's some type of media property coming back that is that they do a crossover with that.
But the Ghostbusters Transformers stuff was both of them celebrating 35 years because they came out in 84. Huh. That's what that was. It didn't have anything to do with Afterlife.
But I mean, that was in production, or at least it was active as a brand, I think is what Lucas is getting at. Whereas Back to the Future is probably dead in the water.
So I feel like the Ghostbusters thing, it was coming up, and Hasbro's like, let's release a Ghostbusters figure so that way we can show it off. So when they're looking for someone to produce their, Ghostbusters line, they'll look to us. And so they did a fantastic job on that. Like, I think that's probably, like, let's show what we can do. So, like, that's the question is there something other, there's a gajillion 80s things that are coming back now. So I don't know what is, I can't think of, like, off the top of my head.
There's a lot of, I don't know what's coming back, but, like, if the DeLorean wasn't happening because it's dead, like, there's just nothing's happening with Back to the Future. There's, there's Kit. There's the A-Team van. There's the party wagon, but I don't think you're going to get anything out of Playmates.
Well, yeah, that's another line. Paul in the chat says that we should take a ride to the Danger Zone.
Top Gun.
So
it's getting a movie this year.
Is there maybe a Top Gun crossover?
Mystery Machine.
I don't know.
I can see a Mystery Machine too because there's a Scooby-Doo movie coming out like next year. So that's another one.
A-Team.
I said that one. So we don't have any big vans though. We only have the deluxe vans. Ectotron was nice because it was bigger, so you get a lot of the detail from the show. If they were trying to use a Ratchet or Ironhide mold, it'd be kind of small. I
think they do a similar kind of retooling like they did for Ectotron. I think they would make a new thing to make it accurate.
Well, I mean, Ectotron though had a bigger base. Like I'm wondering what could they use that they could shove van parts on for Mystery Machine or A-Team van, that type of stuff. And I'm sure they could find, like, even I've wondered that for the DeLorean as well, since that's been the heavily rumored one. Is what's a bigger car?
Autobots and Siege.
I mean, it wouldn't have to be in the Autobot. Who cares? But just usually Decepticons don't have car modes.
That's what I'm looking at. Were there no Voyager Autobots in Siege? Except Optimus? Looks like it. So anyway, I'm looking for bases because they're right behind you.
So what would we, with DeLorean being the heavy one, what could they retool from to make that? I mean,
Sideswipe,
do they just do Eggotron again?
Yeah, I guess.
Actually, make Soundwave into the vans. It's boxing. Change all the parts.
Well, they're also
changed all the parts for Ectotron, so yeah.
They're going to be releasing a Ratchet, so maybe that's a bigger van that they also do.
I don't know. Well, I'd like to see them go, like if they did, even if they were smaller, like doing a 2-pack of like, the A-Team van and the Mystery Machine or something like that. That'd be a lot of fun. But I don't know who owns Scooby-Doo. I know that's a very active brand, and there's like always Scooby-Doo on the air or on the shelves, it feels like.
It does own Hanna-Barbera now.
There's a new Scooby-Doo movie coming out.
There's always a Scooby-Doo movie coming out.
Right. But I literally just saw the preview. I went to the Sonic movie today, and they had a preview for that. So, but I don't know who owns it.
For other Transformers at Toy Fair, we will see BotBots. They will be there.
Wave 5 already just hit, Christian.
He's got it behind him.
Yeah, it did.
What?
So we have at least 6 and probably 7 for the end of the year. Hopefully we'll see some bigger sets, like a play set or something. That would be really cool.
Your greed is going to get that canceled. You got to hope for even just one BotBot a year.
I'm buying them all.
Because you're going to want them to make bigger stuff, and they're going to do it, and it's going to flop, and I'm going to be like, oh, we got to cancel it. Like, I'll be honest, it's one of those, I feel every time they do those, copy a gimmick from another line, it always feels so short-lived. So I think it's pretty great that BotSpots has lived as long as it has, to be honest.
It's got a second year, and a lot of them don't, you're right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's because they've done the gimmicks so much better. I mean, they're just more fun, I think, than a Shotgun, because Shotgun just sits there. I mean, BotBots are Transformers. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
One thing I'm somewhat surprised, like, since there are so many kids collecting BotBots, that you haven't gotten a carrying case. So, like, something like because, I mean, Hot Wheels still releases carrying case for cars. So
Shopkins, and they have tons of bases effectively, like little display sets, and they have carrying cases. Like, my daughter really liked Shopkins for a while. She has this called the Tall Mall. Like, you expand it and you can put all your stuff in, and then you can squeeze it down, and that'll shrink up in there. So it's both a carrying case and a big play set. So yeah, I'm surprised we haven't got anything like that for BotBots.
Maybe we'll see it this weekend. I really do hope we do. Something bigger like that would be really great.
Yeah, Rodimus Supreme says a Batmobile Transformer. I was thinking of that myself, but since I think DC is rights are pretty locked down, that I doubt they could get away with it. Unless, Hasbro and Mattel are going to play nice, and I just don't see that happening. Yeah. I'd love to be wrong, but...
Well, does Mattel, who is it, McFarlane does the DC stuff now, right?
Well, that's right. They did start doing it.
I mean,
McFarlane did just start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a different company.
I guess Warner Brothers could do another license. That'd be kind of weird. But, for a limited thing like a Transformer, it might make sense for them to do that.
Yeah.
Although I think they still do... DC themed Hot Wheels, so it might fall into a vehicle category, which then Hot Wheels would be mad at. So I don't know. Maybe.
So
when does Toy Fair explicitly start? Like, is it Friday night or Thursday night?
Thursday night.
When is so we're gonna get a leak from IGN or somebody like that that's gonna leak half the crap, or not leak, but
tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
This is going to come.
It could be Wednesday.
Is there a Hasbro breakfast? That's
Comic-Con.
Okay,
there's probably a preview dinner.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, I thought that usually there's something like you said, Thursday or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
can I scooch in one non-Transformers thing that I hope is going to happen?
Go for it.
All right, so there's been activity from the original creator of Bionicle from back in 2001. They had a Generation 2, it was short-lived, and it didn't do very well. But now it seems like Generation 3 is on the cusp of happening. He's been kind of teasy about it for about a year. But over the weekend, he put up something way more concrete. And wouldn't you know, Toy Fair's right around the corner. I'm hoping we see Bionicle from Lego at Toy Fair.
We don't need Bionicle. We have Construct Bots. Thank you.
We don't have Construct Bots.
I mean, I can see that coming back again, just because, like, I mean, Lego's like anybody else. It's like you gotta keep pumping out new ideas and new whatever. So,
I mean, I really think G.I. Joe is going to be huge on non-brand stuff. I mean, we know it's coming back in some form. I think they're going to have a big part of the presentation and have a display with all the new G.I. Joe stuff. I don't care about G.I. Joe, but I got a lot of friends that do. I think that's going to be just the fact that it's not a dead property anymore is probably good for everybody.
The thing I'm curious about G.I. Joe is that the vehicles were such a big part of it, right? And so you would assume that, like, are we assuming that this is going to be a 6-inch line, that it's going to be similar to Marvel Legends? So if they do that, I'm curious to see how many vehicles they'll end up releasing, because, like, and are those actually going to be on store shelves? Because, I mean, I guess we see some Star Wars where they have some Black Series, like, releases and whatnot, but, like, there's not a lot, and, like, it's usually like one or two things that come out. So, like, whereas G.I. Joe, would almost think you'd want more than that, and the play sets and all that kind of stuff. So is that going to be something where it's more of a selects thing to get the vehicles and whatnot?
I think it's going to be, I don't think the first wave is going to have vehicles, but I suspect later on we'll see, like, here's Snake on his motorcycle, just like Marvel Legends does. Things of that nature, where it'll just be, it's not going to be like, here's the, Flagstaff ship or whatever it is, that freaking like 100-foot long.
There's going to be USS Flag someday from the Hasbro HasLab or whatever. Like, that's gonna happen.
Not if the G.I. Joe line tanks.
It'll be huge.
Okay, well, I guess if this G.I. Joe line tanks, but I still feel like the flag is, like, they're gonna do this and they're gonna do a flag. Like, I'm betting that's the next HasLab thing. I could be wrong, but I just feel like the flag, like, it's something where I'm not into G.I. Joe either, but I feel like it's, the flag is such a big, iconic piece. I almost would consider about getting that myself.
I could see him doing a whale, but probably not a flag.
Yeah.
I mean, a flag in the 6-inch scale is going to be the size of someone's room.
That is true. Can you imagine what that would cost to ship?
Do you think
the sail barge wasn't 6-inch scale though, was it?
No, that was the 3 3/4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have the current 3 3/4 line.
You're right.
I think Unicron will be there, but I think it'll be the same prototypes we've already seen.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be anything new. I don't think there'll be any notable changes with it. They might have the little slug figures there and stuff, but
they might have a packaging mock-up for us to see. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to come in a huge box.
Yeah, I can't even imagine a flag. Like, I still feel like a flag is coming at some point, but I don't know how much it would cost. Like, it had to be like $1,000, right? Like, I mean, the amount of plastic we're talking about these days.
It would have to be multiple HasLabs. Get Part A. We really hope Part B funds next year.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God. That would be nuts.
Yeah, I have to agree with Nero here. I don't think they'd ever do flag. I think it's fun to talk about, but I think it feels like that toy barely happened in the first place in the 80s. Back when we used to get, like, bases galore, But it'd be fun to be wrong just to know that it exists. Not that, I mean, Snake Mountain finally happened, but that took a long time, and I think Snake Mountain's more iconic. But
Yeah.
Maybe Hasbro has a much bigger reach than Super 7 as well. So.
Yeah, that's true.
It could happen, but man, it seems like doing it for something like G.I. Joe, which is practically dead. It'd be really risky for them.
The line things are really good.
As I say, they're coming out with a new G.I. Joe line. Aren't they coming out with a new movie, or am I off base?
It's Snake Eyes movie, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe this will be the final time that it actually takes off, right?
I mean, I thought the first 2 movies made their money and some, and then some. I mean, I didn't watch them, or not. I shouldn't say the first 2, but whatever. The ones we had past 10, 15 years or whatever.
I think there's 2.
Yeah, I mean, it got a sequel, so it had to do well enough.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yay, Toy Fair. It's happening. This weekend is the most wonderful time of the year for us.
So do we want to talk about what are we going to do for Toy Fair? Like we've talked about, we think we want to do a live show Sunday. I've kind of wondered if we wanted to do some just shorter live shows, not put them on the podcast or anything, just each night as it happened. Just a few of us hop on and chat about the reveals we saw for 30 minutes, see if anybody wants to join us. And, if we want to have a bigger, normal, the Toy Fair episode that goes on for the podcast and stuff, that'd be fun too. But it might be fun to kind of cover a little bit more each night as it goes along. Let us know what you think. Think that idea sucks? Think it's cool?
Do you want to see more of us?
I'm sure my wife is going to be super excited for this weekend. It's hey, at least it's not Valentine's weekend like it has been in the past, right? But it's hey, honey, I hope you don't have any plans this weekend because, I'm just going to be sitting around on my computer looking at toy stuff. And then her response will be, well, how is this different from any other weekend?
Because there's more of it. It's official. We'll definitely stay tuned to us for later this weekend. We'll figure out what we're doing. We're definitely going to have some shows about Toy Fair, though. Definitely join in and chat with us about it.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think what else. So tomorrow night, Microcasters, we are doing the Micromaster bases. So we'll be in the new Micromasters from Earthrise. And then, so that'll be live on Facebook tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. So check us out for that. Are we doing Ouch this week, Rob? Or are we gonna...
I kind of think we take a bye week. Okay. I know I don't have anything, and nobody's hit me up yo, dog, definitely have me on the show this weekend. And again, I've mentioned before, we're thinking about maybe doing that show every 2 weeks or so. But, stay tuned. If the cast really wants to do one, I'm happy to host. I don't have anything, especially with the coronavirus being out there and slowing everything down from China. We hope everybody gets better out there, but, it's also slowed down toys coming in. Not that that's that important, but...
Yeah. So, but we probably will be doing stuff for Toy Fair as well. So, and then also,
definitely,
Paul from the cast also is actually going to be going for Toy Fair. So I think he will actually be covering some of the Ghostbusters news there. So I'm sure he'll probably put some of that information up as well. So it should be lots of fun. For the show, so
it'll be a good weekend either way.
Yep. So stay tuned. We'll try to announce whatever we decide to do for Toy Fair. So I know RFC usually does their live coverage on Saturday, so they'll be doing it live from Toy Fair. So we'll try and see what we have to do around that. So, but, all right.
We'll see you this weekend.
Well, thanks, guys, for joining us. Thank you to everyone in the chat. We had a pretty good chat going today. So, and then also, if you like us and what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/TFYLP. Tiers from $1 all the way up. So we pretty much are doing that just for our website hosting costs and server costs and all that for the podcast and for the show. So, All right. Well, thanks everyone, and we will check you out this weekend.
Bye.